I'm doing this one as a video because it's very basic. It's kind of not eye-catching. It's not something that's very, talked about, but it's something that everybody should be aware of, right? Especially if you're ghost hunting. And this is part of the paranormal science. This is equipment and the different functions. So one thing that everybody seems to agree on is that spirits are made of energy, right? They are made of just pure energy, spiritual energy. And what that means to you can be different to what that means to me, but for all intensive purposes, we all pretty much agree that spirits are energy. So that's what these devices do. Okay? So, like, say the K2 meter here. This will pick up on energy, right? Whether that be magnetic energy. A little bit here. See? You can do that here. Very weak magnetic energy there. Or electrical energy. But what they do is when they come in contact with that K2 meter, depending on how much energy they put into it, depends on how high that K2 meter will go, right? That's something pretty much every paranormal investigator can agree on. The more energy they put towards it, the better. Now, I will point out one very big flaw with the K2 meter. Although this is a form of energy, it does spike the K2 meter. So if you're investigating near, say, railroad tracks or somewhere that does high vibrations, that's something to keep in mind. It may be spiking because of the vibrations that are coming through a train coming through or what have you. Okay? Keep that in mind when you're investigating. Now the cat ball, I don't have one with me here. The cat ball is one thing because it goes on movement, much like what I just showed you. But if it's staying completely still, that little, my daughter is being down here. She got me a cat ball. Okay? So you keep the cat ball completely still. It won't go off. Unless that energy that gets in there, touches it, completes that pattern. Right? And then it will light up. So that energy will make a bridge and do that. Such as the yes-no pyramid. I forget the full name for it. Motion sensors will sense energy motion. And all the other things, the REM pods, it's energy going close to that. The flashlights that they use, there's not quite a complete connection, quite like the cat ball. The energy of the spirit makes that connection, right? So you have that. So you want to know and you want to play with all of these things that, and see what their flaws are. There's always flaws in every equipment, right? There's flaws in every single equipment. There is nothing that is, infallible. You want to use the SP7 Spirit Box, and it keeps bringing up Geico. Okay, is probably just picking up radio. You don't want to use that. You'll get a certain tone that you're using, and you'll get a certain tone of voice that you will understand that's actually a spirit, not, you know, the radio. And keep in mind that all these apps that we use, the radar, the necrophonics, the ghost tube, they are, you know, the energy that the spirits manipulate dictate what comes through. So if you do have a random energy spike from, say, your electrical or solar, if you're doing it during the day, even if you're not doing it during the day, it can be reflected off the moon, can put in random things that are in there, and you need to disregard those. It has been said that the necrophonics is quite like the Ouija board, which, you know, opens things up, gets things going, pulls things in, and that may not necessarily what you want to do, but you know, it's also pre-recorded, the necrophonics. So always remember, certain things are not part of your investigation, and it's up to you as the paranormal investigator to figure out which ones are and are not. Play with it, know it, get a good feel for it before you ever use it in an investigation. I'm sorry, what, little one?
It also uses a pendulum.
Okay, yes, we're getting to that. My little one says, don't forget about the pendulum. Yes, the pendulum. So you can ask spirits to talk through the pendulum. They can do it. They talk to the Ouija board. Dowsing rods and pendulums really rely on a steady hand. If you do not have that steady hand, if you do not have that willingness to just sit incredibly still, or set it up on something else that is incredibly still, and you're not doing, you know, a railroad investigation where the railroad has vibrations and stuff, you can get answers from those. But you need to know when, okay, no, that was me. Hold on, let's try again. Let's answer that again. Okay? There's also a lot of negative feelings towards the Ouija board. Let me tell you this thing about the Ouija board. I used to use it when I was 6, 7 years old. Okay? I don't know how I had the intuitive... We used like a crayon lamp. We would charge the thing beforehand, and we'd close it out with the crayon lamp. I don't know how we had the knowledge to do this, but it's very, very important to open it with intent and close it with intent. Put those things back. What you do not want to do with any sort of, you know, communication tool, whether it be an app on your phone, do not burn the phone because what you got on it. Do not burn the Ouija board. Do not burn a pendulum. Burning them is not going to do it. Okay? Melting them down, not going to do it. The dowsing rods, it's just going to open that and keep it open. Okay? But they're not something to be feared. The Ouija board, the pendulum, the dowsing rods, the apps, they're all the same. Absolutely all the same. And we see so many investigators use all the apps. What really is the difference? It's energy. Open it, close it, like you should open and close the apps on your phone. You know, it's just energy. So that's pretty much how all of them work. Now there is a couple that do work a little differently. Like, oh, what is that called? There are a couple that put energy into the atmosphere, which, by all means, go do it. Give the spirits what they need. But realize that free floating energy can also give false positives. Okay? If you're putting energy in the atmosphere, it's just floating around, it's not actually being used, it can influence the stuff to say things. You may even be directing by your own thoughts, by your own gifts, into whatever app you're using, into whatever Ouija board you're using. That is a thing. Okay? So if you want to use that, know that, but go in with blank intentions. You know nothing. You're just waiting. Okay? You're waiting for these answers. You're waiting for that. No matter what comes through, keep your mind out of fear. Try not to get too excited. And just let things flow as naturally as they need to do. Otherwise, all that energy going into the atmosphere is just you. It's just you. As weird as that sounds. Okay? So wait, the REM pod, okay, 2 meters. Even tarot cards. I mean, we're just shuffling. We get a little clumsy. Sometimes a card that pops out is not what's meant. You know, you need to feel the energy. You need to understand that energy. You need to take the, you need to work with this tarot deck for a little while. That way when something pops out on accident, by your own clumsiness, not by spirit divination, you're like, nope, that was not it. That was just me. Keep going. You need to work with every single ghost hunting tool. Every single thing. Because even these, little cat balls, they are not infallible. Like, I just turned this on. They didn't work. Sometimes they get stuck. After a while. They get harder and harder to turn on. And know when it's time to replace them. Okay? Change out batteries, obviously, between every investigation, just for the hell of it, because, new energy, new going, new place. But do not take it with everything. Debunk everything. Okay, ask the question again later again. See if you get a different answer. If it's completely different, ask the question again a few minutes later. And get the two that tie together. If none of them tie together, stop using it. Okay? Use something else that is working more fluidly with you, that is working more correctly for you. And not everybody's going to use the same things. I mean, a lot of people use necrophonics, but I find it to be not that accurate for me. A lot of people use Ghost Radar. Ghost Radar works for me. Doesn't work for other people. Ghost Tube kind of works for me when they want to use it. It doesn't work for other people. Vox, the Spirit Box. Use what works for you. Play with it. Know it and get to know every little bit of your equipment before you just go off on a brand new investigation and you have this brand new piece of equipment, but you have no idea what the responses are you're going to get. That's not going to serve you very well. Research. Know the history of the place so you know what actually resonates. So if something says fishing and you're in the middle of nowhere, you don't understand. But the last person who died loved to fish. That is a big thing. Now, if something says, lemons over and over, probably just ridiculousness. That might be your energy. That might be, if it's never come up on the app, although many times you played with it, something to look to. But if you've never played with it and that's what's coming up and demons, it's just your own fears literally manifesting through that app, through that whatever equipment you're using. Okay? Candles can be a good thing. You can see shadows. There's so many different things. So I hope that gives you a basic understanding of paranormal science and equipment 101.